Peanut brittle is such a classic recipe that most people make on the holidays, but it's really a cheap, easy dessert for any day. In a saucepan, you're going to add 2 cups of sugar, a half a cup of water, and 1 cup of Karo syrup. You want to start mixing this in a cold saucepan, and then once you get all your ingredients in the pot, you're going to turn it on a low to medium heat and add 1 teaspoon of salt. For this recipe, you really need a thermometer. You could have an instant thermometer or a candy thermometer. I don't have a candy thermometer, so I just use an instant. You're going to stir this until it reaches 250 degrees. While that is getting hot, you want to butter a large cookie sheet or a flat pan to pour it on for later. Once it reaches 250 degrees, you're going to add in 3/4 cup of butter, which is a stick and a half cubed, and you're going to stir that until melted. And now you want it to reach 280 degrees. Be super careful. This is so hot and sticky. If it gets on your skin, it is going to burn you. This is not a kid-friendly recipe for the kids to make. Once it's at 280 degrees, add 2 cups of peanuts. I used raw peanuts that I had roasted and shelled, but you could use any kind of peanuts that you want. It's going to get a darker brown color and get thicker as it reaches 280 degrees. Once you add your peanuts, they're going to kind of clump together. You're just going to gently stir these in until they're well incorporated. And then you're going to want your mixture to come up to 305 degrees. This is going to be quick, so as soon as it gets up to 305 degrees, you're going to want to turn it off for your heat. If it gets over, it's going to be super hard, and if it gets under, it's going to be chewy. Here, mine come up to 305 degrees, so I took it off of the burner, added a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of vanilla, and combine that well. And this is going to cool quick, so you got to be fast. On your sheet pan, you're going to pour this out. I quickly realized mine was too small, but it worked just the same. It was just thicker, but I prefer the thinner brittle. So make sure your pan is big enough. And then you're going to sprinkle salt on the top if you'd like. And then you're going to let it cool completely. Once it's cool, about 30-40 minutes, I pop it out and flip it over on some parchment paper to finish cooling. And then once it's completely cooled, you can break it apart. But since mine was so thick, a metal spatula to gently, and I did not do gently, and you will see that it cracked everywhere, but I gently used a spatula to break it apart. And since this was thicker, I did bite-sized pieces, but if you do thinner brittle, you could just break it with your hands. But this is so buttery and good and so easy to make. And here I screenshotted the recipe so that you can also screenshot it to save to make.